Hello and welcome to the video. Goodness sake. Welcome to the video. Today's episode is going to be, well, I say episode, but today's video is going to be a little bit different. I want to explain / talk about the cars that I've owned through the years. Now, if you know my channel, then a majority of you have subscribed because of car content. Now, I've been watching vlogs and stuff like that, and I could do a vlog on the car that I currently own, but to be honest, I'd rather talk about all the cars I've owned, which there are 4. I think I've owned some total of 4 cars since the ripe old age of 17, when I could learn how to drive in the UK. I don't know why I couldn't say that properly then. Anyway, so to start off with, I had a Ford Fiesta. It was a 1.25. It came, I don't know, I couldn't even tell you what year it was that long ago. Must have been 2009, something like that. Not the car, but when I bought the car. Well, I didn't even buy the car. It was actually a straight swap with a Volkswagen Passat that my dad had. And I said to him I wanted to learn how to drive, and he said he'll give me a car, and that was the first car he got me. I drove a sum total of about an inch. I never actually drove the car. It wasn't good enough for me to learn how to drive in. It wasn't something that, you know, my dad was comfortable for me to drive. Yeah, it was easy. You will see pictures of these of like, not the car itself, because I don't take pictures of my cars. I'm not that sort of person. But yeah, you'll see like a general picture of what the car would have looked like when I bought it. But yeah, it had windy windows at the front. It only had 2 doors. It had a cassette player in it, and it was incredibly slow. I remember being overtaken by a few cars on dual carriageways when I was with my dad, because at the time I was at college, and it was something that he was driving around because he couldn't afford a car at the time. The second car was a Nissan Micra. Again, it was a car that I bought rather cheaply. It was a few years after the Fiesta. I was about 21, 22 when I bought the thing. Again, it was a 1 litre, it wasn't very big. Again, windy windows at the front, and a cassette player in it. It was terrible. I can remember it well, it was very terrible. So, basically, if you had the handbrake on and you hit the accelerator, the car would feel like it was about to rip apart. That's how bad it was. There was a few times that I went out with my dad to learn how to drive, and I'd lift the clutch up and I'd stall it like you do as a learner driver. Then my dad would get into the car again, right, going home, and he'd lift the clutch up just a little bit and it'd stall. Sometimes it had a good biting point, sometimes it had a bad biting point. All in all, the car was terrible. I put 60 quid's worth of new front brakes on it, and when I went to go and scrap the thing, all I got was £60. There's not much to say about it, because it did its purpose. It taught me how to drive to an extent, not all of it, of course, because I scrapped the car way before it actually passed my test. But coming to January of 2015, I bought what was to be effectively my first car on the road after I passed my test, which was my 2003 Skoda Fabia. Now, in hindsight, there was nothing wrong with the car when I bought it. There was absolutely nothing wrong with the car with it. It was fine, it was sound. It would cost me £900, and I got it from a local garage near me. It didn't have a warranty or anything like that. It wasn't that sort of car really. It was just off a forecourt. It was some guy was selling cars, and I bought one off of him. I had it completely for a year. I didn't drive it for a year, obviously. I passed my test in October. I scrapped it in June of this year, actually. No, last year, yeah. So yeah, I bought it in 2015, scrapped it last year. Obviously I bought a replacement as well. I will describe that in a second. But yeah, it was actually a good little car. It was a 1.4, I think it was an 8 valve, I don't think I got the 16 valve one. It had a CD player and it had front electric windows and had four doors in it, which was perfect, because the minute I passed my test, I became a taxi, which was kind of annoying. If I remember it clearly, the first day I passed my test, I was like, yes, I can go anywhere, do anything. And my mother turned around and asked me to go do some shopping. And basically that was what happened afterwards, since that. Why did I scrap it? Well, multiple reasons really. One, I couldn't sell it because of the condition it was. Because obviously when you pass your test and you get to a car the first time, you don't exactly drive normally. You ride the clutch, you ride the accelerator, you try and do wheel spin, you do all these stupid little things that you do in a little car like that. And I've ruined it basically. It had a slight oil and coolant leak when I bought the thing, and I kept on trying to get around to fixing it, stuff like that, and it never happened. But eventually, it got to a point where I'd have to be, every time I got into the car, I'd have to top it up with coolant or water to make it go back to where it needed to go. And eventually I gave up. I literally gave up. The engine warning light kept coming on, didn't care, still drove it like a twat. I replaced the actual reservoir, the coolant reservoir, still leaked. Dad had a look at it. My dad had a look at it. He sorted that out. Still leaks. There was must have been like a burst pipe somewhere or something like that. And eventually, I just gave up and I went out and bought a new car. Brought the new car home. My dad then drove the Fabia for about 2 to 3 days after that, I think. And the head gasket went and it blew the engine to bits and there was white smoke everywhere. I remember I had to follow it back to our house and I couldn't see the road ahead because there was that much white smoke. And when I scrapped it I got 20 quid. You know, that was fun. And moving on to my last vehicle, my current vehicle, which is a 59 plate or 2007 Ford Focus 1.6. Now, it's a twin cam. I love this car to bits. It's something that I always wanted because I've always liked Fords. Okay, I've liked Ford Focuses, Ford Fiestas, Ford Mondeos, Ford whatever, Mustangs, whatever. It doesn't really matter. I've always loved them, and you know, it was cheap. It was 1,600 quid. And I'm planning on keeping this for quite a long time, if I'm honest. I actually do have a picture of this one. I'll blur out another place so you don't try and steal my credentials. But yeah, no, it's a good car. It's a very good car. There was a problem with it about 6 months after I bought the thing, which I've recently just fixed, and it was a battery issue. I turned the key and the lights would flick on and stuff like that. But it's a Ford, so you literally just put a new battery in and it sorted itself out. Besides from that, no other real problems. Recently did a service on it and I kept dropping the spark plugs back into the cylinders. Not cylinders, the spark plug holes to get along those pliers to put it back out again. But yeah, no, I mean it's done 103,000 miles. It's not like a new car or anything. It is a 2007, so it's about 10 years old. But you know, it's sound. There's nothing wrong with it. There is, however, a scratch on it that I didn't do. When I bought the car, there was a few scratches on the passenger side. They're cheaply like fixed or whatever. When I parked my car up next to work, I came home, or I say came home, I came back to the car and I noticed there was a massive scratch on the driver's side door. I have a picture of that as well, I'll show you that as well. And yeah, that kind of annoyed me. But I'm too lazy to get it fixed, to be honest. It wouldn't cost that much, I know, but yeah. So yeah, those are the cars I've owned over the last, God knows how long really, since I was 17 really, and I'm 25 now, so I'm 8 years, something like that. So, what cars, if you can drive that is, what cars have you been driving? And leave them in the comment section down below. I always like reading what you guys like to say. So, I've been Scooby Customs. This has been my cars. I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ra.